Okay, so check out some of this Philip Dresden with me here for a minute.
Something, and see for yourself. We have domes on English ships, and we have some small boats, and they're using something differently, not like modern cannonballs. Look, these domes. It's official paintings, yes. And strange, and this guy researches this Crimean War, and as you see, there is no even trace of any vegetation, any trees, not even young one. And you see kind of destruction. What destruction is it? It's official photo, you can find it everywhere, Crimean War. And the same shit everywhere.
It's like Tunguska almost.
And what else we see here? They were attacking only place, the one place in Sevastopol. Why they came? Actually, the whole war is about one place in Sevastopol. And we see they were attacking bastions like this with some strange devices like antenna. And what for? It was free energy device like in Star Fort we'll have all these small places. What I'm trying to say, actually, it's a real depiction.
That's it right here.
A real painting of sailors, British sailors.
Cannonball, nothing. Here, there's no cannonball.
We see. It's Russian depiction of Russian sailors and Russian troops. And what we see here, we see no traces of cannonballs. We see no traces of gunpowder. We must see many of them. But it's one of the bastion on top of it. And we see cannon, how it was used during the Crimean War. It was last used in these free energy devices.
Is it a ship or is it a fortress?
It's a fortress, you see. Looks like a fortress, but it doesn't matter. Because both sides were using, it's last time. First one, we definitely know that fortress Bomarsund in Finland. Finland was part of Russia at that time. And it was completely destroyed somehow. But it's polygonal style, many tons, one block. Wait, many tons. How it was destroyed? Some kind of nuclear explosion. Definitely, some kind of. When I say nuclear, I mean the amount of energy. I don't mean that.
There's no such thing as nuclear bombs. It's ridiculous.
I mean the size of explosion.
Comparable.
Slightly nuclear. Comparable to nuclear, definitely. And we see here, looks like wires coming to this cannon. And there is no gunpowder, definitely. And there is also, this is what I tried to say before, captain of gas, captain Don Holt, captain of the port, different captains, clerk, captain, and so on. Cap to cap and Tain. And we see other depictions there of those bastions and what was under those cannons. And we see some strange devices without any explanation what is it. And we see destructions again. No way such destructions could be done by conventional weapons of that time.
This is waveform energy weapons.
It's like crashed, completely to the dust, some of the buildings.
It hits you like a brick that's invisible.
Can you
and we see what's left over.
Scroll a little bit back?
This?
No. The destruction. Yeah.
That's not even talking about what they do with the microwaves.
Cannonballs right above, below. Yeah.
This one you mean?
And
it's something.
Yeah,
some balls, but I'm not sure the cannonballs.
Like cannonballs.
Original cannonballs were made of stone, all of them. What we see now, it's cargo cult kind of, it's some metallic. Later we start to use metallic cannonballs, but then refused because it's scratching
I'm not sure about cannonballs. Are they supposed to be exploding after they touch the object, or are they supposed to just...
no way it could be exploded using the smoke gunpowder of that time, official.
So
I mean,
the
smoke,
like a grenade, or it was like, just a stone?
No way you can build any grenade using the conventional way Look, it's mud flooded.
In other
Also.
words, the cannon
It's
wasn't
not
doing all
exploded.
that.
It's not TNT
Like,
like
hit it with a
dynamite
rock.
and so on.
What
Dynamite
happened
was
in
not
truth
invented at
is
that
you
time, so there's
lit
no
up
way
a cannonball in
you
one of
grenade
those
even.
cast iron cannons.
I just received
It'd
this.
blow up
No,
and kill everybody.
not enough power.
So
And what I'm trying to say
probably
here,
they put all those stockpiles of so-called
No.
cannonballs just to
it
stay
was direct
stage.
energy weapons. Yes, like we see here, everything there. Depiction, pictures of
Like
using
every
right way.
city's blue ISIS cult
Explosions.
groups
people-
carry.
Just I will show you. That's the only place they were attacking. Russians were defending it. English were attacking this place. Why? Because it has free energy devices.
Mall
These
cops, I mean,
devices
to say, I'm sorry.
I showed you before in the basement
They work for corporations.
Here. with cannons.
Corporate
It's
cops.
something like this. This type of construction with free energy condensators.
This jurisdiction does
condensator.
not extend beyond the boundaries of the
Something like this,
corporation.
because we have many of them in
dead
Germany,
things.
thousands of them. In Russia also.
Necromancy. That's what that's
Typical
called.
way. And this device also was for free energy. This guy is explaining everything. I will provide you with some links to this article.
This world was
And
essentially
he explained everything.
erased
Actually, I explained how the cannons were working
about 200 years ago.
in my video. So
Nobody
you're welcome
told
to
any
watch
of
my
us.
video.
Well, I've seen. I think I see.
There was a one world order,
Some of them.
and it came to
and
a
also,
I don't
end.
ships were all for
I don't
free
trust
energy.
Tartary info because it's like I know.
What we got here today is
some
a bunch of
people
orphan trained babies.
who is like posting.
That's how come
It's like,
everybody with the name
Many
Brussenhand.
authors actually owner
Interesting.
of this site. It does
That's how come everybody with the name Brussenhand is either a blood relative or married to a blood relative or been married to a blood relative, because
you know about Carmona?
based on
Yeah.
the timetables of around 1850-ish, and now the number of us that there would be is exactly about appropriate to if it was given to some kid off a train
Like always.
with a bunch of orphans, you know. Because past that, there's no history of the name Brussenhand anywhere.
They mix
Everybody, that's a very unique name, Brussenhand, B-R-U-S-N-H-A-N.
information, and
But it's
I'm
not
saying
mine.
they show
My name is
completely lies.
Brother Keith.
As you can see,
See, Brussenhand, that's
Yes,
the
tell
government's
almost
name.
all.
That's the slave
if you
name.
scroll
That's not
above
my
also,
name. Some people want to call it their family name, whatever, that's fine.
shot,
Tribe,
you
whatever
find
you wanna
also
say.
The stage picture of Canon and a Canon.
I don't know about all that. I know I should not take my father's name in vain. So,
There are many of them.
Or-
Yes,
over here.
any,
but it's not
you know.
cannonballs. It's those caps I'm talking
because it's all
about.
vanity.
Balls making free energy. It's a mix of amalgam
So anyway,
of mercury.
Yeah,
and
no, I'm
zinc.
contacting the Texas Department of Biostatistics to notify them of falsehoods
Extracting
on
some
the
energy.
certificate of birth that's on
Like
record,
this
and
free energy
nullifying
device,
that
no
entire
wires,
fantasy that
and
they
definitely no
created
gas.
all the way back to the date of my conception, which kills their
It was free
strawman.
energy lighting, like I'm showing you in many places. This is Martinez.
And I'm not using their stupid form. It's in
It's also
boxes
no way you
that nullify everything that's on there. I'm going to take all that information
with that
and write it
power
onto my
done
letter
over
that
the
explains
time.
to them that, you know, item 1A on there.
I'm just a second,
form
I'm trying
that
to show
is
you the
useless.
idea.
This is my answer to that. You know, so
It's
on
a
and so
photo.
forth. I'll attach their form as an addendum.
Cannons there, but they're very small, like very tiny
Exactly.
caliber, and I'm not really sure that they can shoot with those type of cannonball that they show.
No way. And they load for 10 minutes, to load it properly. And they use
All
very
of
good
history
quality
is a
chemistry
lie.
in
All of
modern
it.
time. And
I mean,
they
even
can shoot
now,
maybe one
even
person,
today,
spend
they
10
lie
minutes to
about
shoot
what's
one
happening
person,
in the
even
world.
Only-
They have actors. Almost everything on the news is actors. And it has been all of our lives.
Shoot a person. I mean,
exactly. No way.
what-
survive.
They made us believe that we live on a spinning ball.
and then
that's covered on the exterior surface with water, and it don't even fall off, and neither do we,
The devastations.
because it's something that nobody's ever seen or been able to explain or reproduce. A theory, a 500-year-old thought.
His imaginary war of 1812.
People don't get that NASA is Hebrew for the
It's a real
term
photo
to deceive.
captured
Scripture says that the devil is the deceiver, Satan.
War of 1850, right? 1854.
Yes.
So in the
So
logo
the
of NASA, you've got the split tongue of a serpent coming down to make a T, leaving you with all the letters of the name of the organization, Satan. And that's why Apollo is the son of Satan.
Same type of ships. For 50 years, no progress at all. I mean,
People can't put together that the physics of fluids dictate that liquids like water always find level,
But
that they always have, that they always will, that since the days of Nimrod they've used water levels to build their temples and towers of power.
With aiming device, like this, with filling cannonballs from the backside and so on. Absolutely different.
All
And they
of
all
North
made of
Texas is mud
perfect
flooded.
steel.
Every
cannonballs,
county
the cannons
seat
were,
is a mud
made of
flooder and
bronze.
Tartarian
Most of them, all of them
construction,
actually.
and
There's
they're
definitely
way
some gunpowder, because if it's some
underground,
gunpowder in soft
more
bronze,
than they're
it will
saying.
explode. And I show it in my video also. Not much I can show you now.
There's a crew that's going all over Texas covering it up right now too. I've met the leader of it one time at the Cook County Courthouse whenever I was videoing it. He happened to be there as a older guy. I talked to him. He's a really cool guy.
Look especially at this.
I wish I could have got his phone number.
Cannons. Look. It's not like
The things
we
he
use
knows.
cannons today
Or
to
doesn't.
move
Who
left or
knows?
right. Looks like they're fixed in one position. It was
But he is going around covering
and
up all that
those
evidence.
веревка,
They did a
the
fine job
ropes.
of it, and
and other soft material is to stop vibrations only,
I've been through so many
because they
counties.
were using kind of toroids, energy toroids,
Cherokee
direct
County, I
energy
think it
vehicles.
was, Russ.
And I also showed in my
He
video.
did a good job there. The county courthouse looks
tells us
crap,
that,
but
if they were using
it's just
such
bland, like a big
chemical
old
weapons,
box.
how can they
Killed
do
it.
so many
It was
destructions,
glorious before, I'm sure.
right?
Yeah.
But if
Because
they
I've
were
seen the
using
others.
it on purpose, and
The
just
pictures of the
stages
others in the
and
past.
stages
This one,
and
just like all the other ones,
they were like
you know,
some
there was a
kind of-
fire that ruined it, and it was
then
rebuilt in
we-
1940
we-
something.
we-
It's funny because I
all
just
those people.
was also in
I-
Fannin County where they had a
evidence
great fire in
of what actually
1929,
happened. So maybe
burned the
there were
courthouse
no
down.
actual
Exactly.
Great
war
big,
here, and just
giant
became
concrete
state
structure,
some
Tartarian brick, it burns.
like it
I
was
don't think
there,
so.
but actually, these are just critical actors, crisis actors here.
All they doing is remodeling
Who were
it, and they're saying they
staging
founded it.
pictures, and then
Yeah, they did
creating
found
official
it.
narrative to explain this or that event. And
It was
so
Freemasonry to them when they
what is
found
the
it.
logic of English men and
That's
Frenchmen
how we
from
founded it.
Crimea
Why
Did-
they
found it,
came to
did it.
Crimea, to Finland, to Solovki,
To help-
to
to
Japan,
help-
almost to Japan.
help Turkey.
They're covered in mud, about
Turkey
20
with
feet
the
deep.
war with Russia. I mean,
For
And that was just since this
there was no
reset.
Turkish guy
It was
almost.
another 20 feet deep from the one before
60%,
that.
Some French. Officially, Turkey was part of coalition. Yes,
Turkey was a part of coalition, and it has devastated the Crimean Peninsula. Very interesting. And I've been into Krasnodar Krai.
It's all over the
There were
world.
also a bunch
These
of
guys
Turkish
in Russia and
focuses there.
Germany, I
But they
think,
say
talking now.
If you look at them, they look at
It doesn't matter anywhere you go. It's there.
Exactly.
So, I mean, Turkey was just,
See all these
conquering
windows
the Greek
going into
Roman,
the ground.
Empire from the south, probably.
Below ground
And
windows.
Germans and British were
No,
and French
basements,
were
it's
conquering it
ridiculous.
from the European western side, and the Russians were conquering here in Tartaria. This is how they split these.
The little
That's
well
the
basement
traditional
windows
yes,
that they
no,
build
I
are
mean,
not the
this is
ones
how
that I'm
they
talking
could be
about.
explained,
It-
because different empires were conquering different regions, and so that's why we see the appearance of the United States also, because it was like a representation of all this mixture of Germans, Irish people, British people, French, Italians, Jewish, and so on and
But
so forth. right?
English Empire actually went everywhere and conquered all the
The
world.
same
And
I'm not
construction
taking the official, but I mean, what we see
worldwide.
right now is
It
like
wasn't
a bunch of
Roman.
people, different nationalities there. So
It's
probably the
Tartarian.
USA had some type of a
One world
battleground
order.
and between different
Those antennas, those
groups.
balls of mercury,
And probably all those
they
people
could communicate
were
all
already
over the
living there
world
before.
and much more.
I mean, because it was some
Levitation,
multinational.
the sophistication of the people and the intelligence was beyond our comprehension, honestly.
Exactly. We
Because
had
you
orphan
cannot
trains
transport-
everywhere,
How can you transport those through the sea? So
over
many
oceans.
people
Yeah.
in like 30 years.
They had rivers of mercury with boats that were electric with
Yeah,
copper
there
holes
was
for
no
crying out loud.
tolerance even 100 years ago if some foreigners
Wireless
come,
electric trolley
you know,
cars.
they are not invited and
And
so on.
most of the pictures show that a bunch of white people were worked as
All
slaves.
like-
They have sidewalks that moved for you. You just step on it and they take you where you're going. You step off of it.
Even
a
more
bunch of
over,
kids were working, right?
yes, orphan trains.
They used clean energy as well as they didn't lie about the obvious aspect of our world that ether does exist and is a real part of it.
Nationalities. Who knows?
They used water and they separated it with a little bit of current
What we have today, so a bunch of people in each and every place.
and
We have a bunch of
cathode and anode,
in Russia, and Russia,
maybe
Ukraine has a bunch of Russians.
baking soda type
there
of
was no Ukraine
solvents.
100 years
Yeah,
ago.
because right now, there's
Separate the
different
hydrogen from the
Ukrainians and
oxygen.
Russians. And
Okay,
Yeah.
breathe the
now,
oxygen
100
and
years in the
use the
future,
hydrogen to make anything in the world work.
Ukrainians lived in Novosibirsk, so it was
And
Ukraine.
turn it into a
Yeah, exactly.
generator and plug your TV
There
into it if you
was no
want to. You can make it
Mongolia 100 years ago.
drive your car anywhere in the world,
Ukrainian
fly your
also,
plane,
he was living
you
in
could
Vladivostok,
heat your home,
right?
you know,
Ukraine,
just whatever it is you need to do.
So this is how they do it.
You could start your car in the garage with the door shut,
Yeah,
and you never worry about asphyxiation or anything like this because there's not anything but water vapors coming out of the
the intentional,
tailpipe.
not the natural cause. The
Mhm.
intentional cause of all these events. So the intentional that done on purpose. And as an expert,
Fossil
I like
fuels,
to
what a
investigate
joke.
it from that
It's the blood of Earth.
from 0 point and
You know, these wells, they pump
And by
pump
the way,
these things
about the
dry.
source entrance to the
And you come back 10
This
years
is
later and
community,
it's
by
filled
the way.
up again.
actually one
And
of
I'm
the
like,
first
when did that dinosaur
churches.
jump in the hole and die?
Later it was destroyed, torn down completely, and one of the first entrance to the metro was built here. Another church.
Are we just the smart monkeys
And
and the
they
rest
torn
of
it
them are
down and
dumb?
make
That's how
entrance.
come they're not involving like we are.
yeah,
And another place also. And this place was also torn down. And actually, this was the reconstruction, and they made the entrance. They left some building. So there is no way you can turn down some part of
Through
the
sound
building and use
energy,
the rest,
they were able to
to make
stay
entrance.
extremely healthy and vibrant.
and so on. This is another entrance.
Frequencies.
We see free energy pole here alone, just to transmit signal, and the gate.
Life is
Same, it's where the
entirely
teleport.
better
And another
than we've ever known it.
Temple, also free energy pole, and it's another entrance,
So back in the
another,
days of
metro station.
Messiah when he was here in this world,
and so on and so on.
which
I can
is
show
no
you
less
more and
than
more.
1,000 years sooner than you
It
thought
was
it
torn
was.
down. It looks like they were using only temples. to
It was
build,
more sophisticated, in
the
my
entrance
opinion,
to
than
the
it is
underground
today because it was
station.
right before a reset
another.
that happened in
It was on the
87.
place of first entrances.
That makes sense because the previous entrances were flooded by the mud, so it was like they
Now
supposed
we
to
know, but what
excavate
official narratives say? Yeah, you can.
it. You cannot, send people there and say like excavate it from this church. They say like what church? Man, are you kidding me?
They've
So
had
they
this
had to find some
technology
new entrances,
since
excavate
before the days of Noah.
new pathways.
As the same in New York,
high
First underground was
technology.
where? When?
And they are
We
here.
called
They are
pneumos,
not
like pneumo
anywhere
to
else. There's
control
nowhere to come
the
from
movement and so on.
because there's
There
a
is no
dome
way.
above
Actually, no,
our
the very
world.
first building
You know,
now
I don't
they're
know if it's
under
shaped like a dome
conservation
or
or just
what it looks
reconstructed.
like. I understand
Or not to let
that it
anyone
is
see the technology.
crystalline in structure, and I believe when we see through it and see blue, that's the waters, where it says right there in Genesis that the Father separated the waters from the waters and placed a firmament there to keep the waters from splashing down on the land
Yeah, look
there
at
that He
this.
created
If
and
you
made
see,
trees and stuff like that.
yes, it's one of the
That's when
first
He
tunnel
made
left in New
fishes
York
and birds, and then
underground.
after that He made
Who built this?
reptiles
The
and
same
man.
bricks like
You
everywhere,
know
like in
so it
Russian
goes. So
Kremlin,
Genesis 1
many Kremlins
covers all
actually, in
this.
Italian castles and so on. The same quality of bricks. Who made these bricks? And this perfect masonry. No
The
way.
sun and the moon and the skies and the stars are within the firmament of the heavens.
Exactly, thank you.
Within the
It
firmament
was nice talking to
of
you.
the heavens,
Maybe
directly above your head.
sometime else we
They all
can
spin on
continue
Polaris,
down with your Subway series.
with the exception of the stars that are listed as wandering
Sure.
stars.
Jump
That we call them planets, which is ridiculous because they're luminaries, is exactly what they're called in the scriptures. And it's exactly what they are, lights.
Are they trying to tell us?
Yeah, I will try to put some
I'm
materials,
not saying that they're
some
not
video
angels,
on my
but
English
what
channel
we're seeing
because I put on
is
the, on the
not
every
a
second
body
video
of
on my
land that you
English
can
channel.
land on.
I put much more in Russian
And besides,
channel,
think
but
about it. How
even in
stupid
Russian
is it? Let me
channel,
turn
I
this down, man.
have materials
Honestly,
for 50
folks,
videos. But I
how stupid is this? You look in the sky and see a light and call it like Mars or Venus, right? And it's light in the sky, and those ones are lights in the sky that look identical to the other lights in the sky, that none of those other ones are planets. I mean, those are all burning suns except for the planets. The planets in our solar system appear as burning suns, but they're not. And everything else is a burning sun. Really? Do you not understand that if you're spinning around the sun, that you're never going to see the same sky? Very often, anyways, it's not going to work like a clock. That's for darn sure. And if you want to make that absolute, just realize that the entire solar system is being swung through the Milky Way bar galaxy, Mars bar and all, right now, which means you would never in the ever world ever have a constellation, much less a system that has been used like a Swiss watch to keep time throughout recorded history that we know of anyway. So unless all them stars are spinning on Polaris and we are on a fixed plane exactly the way the scriptures say that we are, then it would be impossible for that clock to be in the sky the way that it is. So there's that. Gyroscopes don't work over balls. They only work over flat planes. They're only mechanical objects. They're in all airplanes. Astrolabes, they've been used to navigate the world's seas for all time. Only work over a flat plane. The real ones. Excuse my dog snoring. Anyways, I just want to introduce you to a little bit of history's mysteries here with these little Russian guys I was listening to.
Yeah, a little bit. It's really cool. You have to feel it. If you will have any chance to
Philip
go there,
Dresden.
just go and try to feel the energy of the place. And buildings like
I would
this
be
are
afraid to
everywhere.
go to Venice. I'd
It's all under reconstruction and
be
so
afraid
on.
to get eaten by a
You cannot
lizard.
see any details of ancient civilization,
I'm
but it's
teasing. I
ancient
wouldn't be afraid
building.
of the lizards.
Really, signs of one global ancient civilization everywhere. We see Rotunda, and it says love, любовь in Russian. Here is love, actually. Nice place. If you're looking for love, come there. And many strange, buildings like this one. Fundament, called pedestal of Lenin from Soviet time. But it doesn't look like it was built in Soviet time. It was long ago because of some detail. First of all, megalithic style. It's huge, really huge. And we see granite stones. Here on basement, officially it could not be done 150 years ago. Because it's megalithic style. Look how they did it. I always ask one question. How they did it and how
And
they
they move
pretended it was naturally
It's
broken.
too big. You can see the
Huge
work that we
blocks.
did. It's up there
It's
higher where the
stone
smaller
blocks.
blocks are.
And it absolutely doesn't look like
Even those are big blocks.
foundation for statue.
Someone else built the
Even
foundation.
Lenin statue. It cannot be done more than 100 years ago, where it's supposed to be for King Romanov.
Goodness gracious, that's a great big
And
door.
we see, what
God
do we
Lord.
see? Of course, we see teleport. We see some vibrations going to be spread out throughout
Big door,
this
small
gate.
doors.
We
Like
see
one big
ancient
guy and
teleport
two small guys.
with all science and design. We have
Does it have
seen
midgets
the same
back then,
design
or
in
was there
many places.
giants?
And all buildings around also have features of free energy building and the same design, like
I said to the
European
lady
style
the other day, there's
Australian style.
I was looking at this courthouse that was talking about having a 2.5-story building.
This stuff
I asked her where was
You
the
can see the
midgets,
same
and she said,
design
"What?"
everywhere.
And I said,
And
"There's
you
a
can-
half a floor there, and I
and
wonder
so on.
what they did with the people that
stock
work there."
forms are the same all over the world. And some people use it
Oh,
for
goodness
buy and
gracious.
sell something.
I don't mean to
They do
offend
not
people of small
realize
stature,
where
so
they
I'm
are.
pretty short myself, I guess.
And
But
let me show
anyways,
some other features
yeah,
of
half
free
stories.
energy in the past. Base reflex systems with net. It means to keep energy inside.
That's
not
how
like
they
in
explain
cities
how
or
part of
something.
the building's
It's not
underground.
for
That's what I'm trying to say
ventilation
to
or
you.
something. It base reflex system to keep frequency.
They were pumping
Like
frequencies out for the better.
This is base reflex
Or the
of
worse.
the building.
That's why they got us
And
on
we
that
see some
440.
metal
right
wires
now.
and so on. It used to
That's
be
some
for energy
Hitler.
building.
Hit
Like
the
this one.
frequency there.
Let's walk there and let's take a closer look.
All right,
It's
we'll
another
call it
song. Listen